Yeah, my writing routine is very strict. And strict is the wrong word, because strict sounds like it's something I don't enjoy. I enjoy it very much. What I mean is I keep to the same structure, which is I get up early, 6 a.m., and then I start by about, I don't know, 6:15. And that sounds hard. I like the morning. I like it for writing. I like the world being quite quiet. I like seeing the world wake up. And then I've finished writing by about midday. And then after midday, I'll only rewrite stuff. So I'll go back and check over stuff. And I do that every day until a section is finished. And then I might take a break. So it's kind of, I like keeping momentum. But I feel like I have, part of the day. I've finished work by then, 2 p.m. I should probably take more breaks, probably. But that's my pattern of work. Yeah. I think I always. No, when I was really young, I wanted to be an astronaut. But I thought that space had. I love science fiction stories, and I thought then you had to go into space to get the stories. I don't think I really wanted to be an astronaut. I just liked space stories. And then I realized you can make them up, so I didn't need to go into space. I just love stories. I've always loved stories. I don't know what else I would have done, really, if I hadn't become a writer. It's lucky that I became a writer. All writing. I never had like a group. It was always anyone who could tell a great story, and that was true for theatre, movies, books. The only thing I never really fell in love with poetry. It was nice, but I studied it at school. I studied English literature at university, but I would never read poetry outside of the classroom. Whereas everything else I used to read all the time and go and see all the movies and plays. But it was everyone. And so from a very early age, it was someone like Roald Dahl, I think. Yeah, a little bit older, I really enjoyed those sort of big classic French authors. Count of Monte Cristo was one of my favorites, partly because I remember buying it in London, and it was at a Penguin Classic, which is a type of book in England, and it had a mostly black cover. They always looked quite stern at classic, and it was huge. And I thought, this is going to be a really tricky book to read. And I picked it up, and within 30 pages, you can't put it down. And it was this incredible pleasure. And I remember thinking, A, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and B, it made you realize that there's a reason these books are classics. It's not that they're necessarily difficult, it's that they're incredibly readable. And so that was one of the sort of important books I read. I think the author, who do I like? I'm trying to think. You have to be careful. I always think the problem with picking one author is it looks like you're picking them above other people, which is why I'm always slightly hesitant. I think one of the books I read recently, this isn't about a favourite book, but one of the books I read very recently was Before Night Falls, which is a non-fiction book actually, about a Cuban poet. It was turned into a movie with Javier Bardem. And that is incredible. I'm just literally thinking about the books I read this last year. I'm trying to think. I like Cormac McCarthy. I don't know. I could go on and name however many. I think, and there's all these other authors that you have yet to discover as well. It's a sort of endless process. I certainly don't think that, Yeah, it's a tricky one in the sense that I like the tension of a thriller. I like characters under pressure. I can't imagine writing a book where the characters aren't under pressure of some kind. And so in a sense, I think thriller is a huge world. I know that in some circles it's looked down upon, but I don't know actually what the next book will be. I know that I won't write a comedy, that's all I can say. No comedy. My next novel, I think it's going to be, I'm not sure yet, because I just finished this TV series, but I think my next novel will be creating a new world. In the same way that Child 44 was trying to recreate this world of Soviet paranoia, I think the next novel will be about a world creation and will be a bigger novel compared to the sort of intense psychological thriller of The Farm. So.